flour. If you have bread, it actually breaks down into glucose because it has to break down into glucose so that your cells can use it. Glucose is the simplest energy source. It's the simplest sugar for cells to use. So what's the difference? So I see a question there. It's a good question. What's the difference between carbohydrates and hydrocarbons? Hydrocarbons don't have oxygen in them, and it is the most simple carbohydrate. So good question, though. Complex carbohydrates are when simple carbohydrates like fructose and glucose join together to form complex carbohydrates like starch and cellulose. So even trees that are some of the biggest living creatures in the world can weigh thousands and thousands of pounds because their tree trunks are made up of mostly cellulose. They are making that cellulose, they're making that wood out of simple carbohydrates like fructose and glucose. And it's because they're putting them together in these big chains. And we as humans aren't able to eat wood and digest it, but termites are, for example. So some animals are able to digest even wood, which is made of cellulose, and they're able to digest that and get energy from it. So they're able to break down wood back down into simple sugars. Again, humans aren't able to do that, but some animals are. Some bacteria are able to do that as well. All right, starch and cellulose. Many plants are made of almost entirely starch and cellulose, which are complex carbohydrates. So we've got simple carbohydrates. I'm going to go back here, like glucose. Glucose is simple, but they can get together and they can form together bigger carbohydrates, complex carbohydrates. And those complex carbohydrates can build things like plants and wood. All right. Simple carbohydrates, complex carbohydrates. I think we're ready to move on. Let's see what Gus and Earl have to say about this. Since grain is such a great source of energy, we best be getting some carbohydrates in that there pig feed. All right, that's what Gus had to say about carbohydrates. So in the pig feed, they need to have some grain for the carbohydrates for those pigs. Earl was impressed. He had never seen this side of Gus before. What about them lipids? I'm sorry, wrong voice. What about them lipids and proteins, Gus? Man, I blew that one. I got the voice wrong. I'm going to try it again. What about them lipids and proteins, Gus? Tain't nothing, Earl. Look down at your gut. That there is just a big old pile of lipids. God darn it, Gus. I can't feed my belly to them pigs. No, Earl. We ain't gonna feed you to the pigs. Lipids are just organic molecules that provide long-term storage of energy and help construct cell membranes. All right, so Gus has told us about lipids, which are another organic molecule that provides long-term storage of energy. Long-term storage of energy. So Earl, with his big belly, has a lot of stored energy in his body. They are pretty smart, actually, if you give them a chance. Although lipids are made like carbohydrates from hydrogen, carbon, and oxygen atoms, lipids can produce more than twice the usable energy as glucose. You know, whoever just said that, they're the smartest farmers on earth. That is remarkable, what Gus just said there. Lipids can produce more than twice the usable energy as glucose. So let's put it this way. Let's say you're going to be stranded on an island with no food except for 1 pound, you can have 1 pound of glucose, or you can have 1 pound of fat. And we can just say it's chicken fat. And you're all about survival. Which one would you pick? A pound of chicken fat or a pound of sugar? Well, I see a lot of people are picking fat, and that's a smart answer in survival because lipids can produce more than twice the usable energy as glucose. Pound for pound, a pound of fat has twice as many calories as a pound of sugar.